Yo, what's up? It's your girl, Tree the LPC. I'm here for another episode of Self-Aware and F'd Up. So today I'm going to be talking about something that is very near and dear to my heart. You guys know that whenever I do videos, I always want to talk about things that are not only just relevant for the world at large, but things that I can personally relate to within my own personal life. We're coming up on the holiday seasons right now. Thanksgiving is a couple of days away, and I wanted to just take some time to talk a little bit about dealing with grief and coping with grief during the holidays. Thanksgiving is my absolute most favorite holiday ever, and the reason that it is my most favorite holiday is because it was one of my grandmother's favorite times of year. I've lost both of my grandparents, my great-grandmother who raised me, as well as my grandmother who lived up in Atlanta. I remember as a child always wishing to go up to Atlanta to her house to spend time with her on Thanksgiving and Christmas. And so that's one of those things that is always a difficult time of year for me personally, because now my grandmothers are no longer present. I've lost several of my friends over the years. I've lost my aunts, uncles. I've just lost so many family members, and I think that learning to deal with grief is really important because it's something that we all experience, but a lot of times it's something that we try to go through without really allowing ourselves to just take the time that we need to take to grieve. My great-grandmother, Carrie, she passed away July the 1st of 2006. Her birthday was on November the 19th of 1980. I recently celebrated what would have been her 102nd birthday. And even though she's been gone for over a decade, the pain of losing her is always present for me on those anniversary dates. I've worked with several people over the years who every time their loved one's death date or their anniversary date, the anniversary of their birthday comes along, they usually get really, really sad, depressed, may lie in bed crying, and it just gets really difficult for people to process through that and not recognize that yes, it could have been 20 years since your loved one passed away. That doesn't mean that the hurt and pain of that loss has fully healed. Yes, it can get better over time, but one of the biggest lie I've ever heard people tell is you one day you'll get over it. You absolutely do not get over significant losses. You learn to get through it, and you learn to get to a place of acceptance of the fact that you can't change the fact that they're no longer here, but you don't just get over it. Grief is not just a 5-step process where you go through denial and anger and depression and bargaining, and you go through acceptance and then it's over. Grief does not just go in this cyclical thing. It's one of those things that you can go from anger back to denial and then feel like you're in acceptance the next day. Like, you can experience all of those different stages at any particular time in your life. And so it's okay if it's been 5 years. It's okay if it's been 10 years since you lost your loved one. That is totally okay. It's okay for you to grieve. It's okay for you to cry. It's okay for you to celebrate their lives in the way that you see fit. One thing that I love about the Hispanic cultures is that a lot of Hispanic cultures, they come together for their family members' death date or their birthday, and they celebrate their life. They light a candle, especially a lot of the Catholic Hispanics. They light candles to celebrate the lives of their loved ones and to remember them. And I think one of the things that I enjoy telling my clients, and one thing that has helped many of them, is finding a way to really, really, truly celebrate their life. If there's a favorite dessert that person liked, if there is a favorite song that they like to listen to, or if there's some type of activity that they enjoy doing on the day of their death or the day of their birth, do those things that they would have enjoyed doing in remembrance of them. It is okay for you to grieve. It's okay for you to feel sad during the holiday time. What's not okay is for you to allow that grief to take over your life and keep you being stagnant and keep you from being able to move forward with your life. Because the thing about celebrating the loss of a loved one, because it is a loss of their life, but the thing about celebrating that loss is recognizing that you are still here and you still have the ability to make choices in your life and grow from the things that you may have learned from them. Grief is one of those things that you really don't fully understand it until you've gone through it. I remember this past week when my grandmother's birthday came up. I remember all night I was working and I was like, okay, you know, just get through tonight, just get through tonight. I got home that morning and I laid down and I just got in bed and I just started crying, like just boohoo crying, like, why am I crying? And it's been so long. It's been so many years since she's been gone. But the thing is, those memories, I remember them just like it was yesterday. I remember her laugh. I remember her touch. I remember her mild, meek voice. I remember enjoying so many moments with her growing up that on those days, I wish she could have lived to be 102. Part of me wishes that. The selfish part of me wishes that, because I don't want her to still truly be gone. But the part of me that recognizes that she was in pain, I can rationalize the fact that I know that it was her time to go. But when you're talking about grief, I want you to understand that there are certain rights that you have as a griever. I share this with a lot of my clients, and this is a book that I use with a lot of my clients, and I'll put the name of the book in the video, but it's called Processing Through Grief. It's by Stephanie Jose. She's a licensed mental health counselor. And the book, in this book, she shares some things on your right as a griever. I'm going to read a few of them, and I hope you will purchase the book if you feel like you do need to work through grief. I'm not getting paid to market this book. It's just one that I really like, and I really like the way that she breaks down these steps and these rights that you have as a griever. The first one is, I have the right to grieve in my own way and at my own pace. The thing is, a lot of people are sometimes bullied into feeling like, oh, grief should be on a timeline. Oh, it was a year ago, so I should be over it. Oh, it was 10 years ago, so I should be over it. I'm not saying you should still be stuck in the same place that you were 10 years, but it's okay to still grieve after 10 years, 20 years, because some of those losses they cut so deep that it does take time to get through those emotions. The second right that you have as a griever is you have the right to grieve differently than anyone else, because your experience is different from anyone else's experience. You don't have to listen to your friends say, "Oh, I don't do that when I celebrate my loved one's death day." It's okay. Your grief does not have to look like anyone else's grief. You have the right to not live up to your own or someone else's expectation about how you should grieve. If you need to cry, cry. If you want to laugh and look at old videos, do that. If you want to go to their favorite restaurant, do that. No one else has the right to judge you for your process of grief. It's totally on your own timeline. So take your time. I want you guys to just really recognize that grief is not an overnight process. It takes time, it takes healing. So as you celebrate this holiday season, make sure that you cling to your friends and your loved ones who are still here. And you celebrate the lives of those who have gone on. And you hold on to their memories. But don't allow the grief to consume you to the point that it causes you to isolate yourself from others. Continue to grow. Continue to give your attention to loving the people who are still here in your life. Because you deserve to be free from the spirit of depression in your life. You deserve to be able to make changes in your life as you work through the grief. So I encourage you, as you're working through the holiday season, as you're working, preparing for family to come in, hopefully you're being safe in terms of social distancing, but as you are working on these things this holiday season, spend some time to give attention to your own mental and emotional health. Check in with yourself. Ask yourself, what am I feeling? What am I experiencing today? Am I sad? Am I nervous? Am I feeling anxiety? Do I feel depressed? What are you feeling? Check in with yourself. Check your temperature is what I like to call it. And if you notice that you're not feeling okay, if you're feeling anxious, if you're feeling depressed, dig into those thoughts. Journal about it. Seek professional help if you need it. But don't just suffer in silence. Don't allow yourself to be bonded to the spirit of depression in your life. And I say spirit of depression not because depression isn't a mental illness, but when I say the spirit of depression, sometimes things in your life, they come in at certain times. And yes, it can be seasonal depression. It can be the biological aspect of it. But when you're talking about being overtaken in something, that's when you really can kind of lose yourself in it. So just be wary. Make sure that you're taking good care of yourself and take care of the people around you. If you have any questions about the video, any questions about depression, anxiety, grief, please feel free to shoot me a message, send me a comment. I try to respond to all messages because I do truly care about your mental wellness, and I want you to be able to thrive and be successful and work through the problem areas in your life. It's been another episode of Self-Aware and F'd Up. I'm your girl, Tree the LPC. Like, comment, subscribe, tap that notification bell. I'll be back soon with more videos on mental health topics. Peace.
Body on my list, she hits him with that deadly silence, dropping bodies like the virus. You might think that she's psychotic or maybe a little violent, but I bet that you won't try me if you ever dare to cross me. I don't play, she don't play. OMG, I think she's lost it. I found it and I promise you ain't seen the last.